Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Is it okay to tell your kids gory fairy tales and nursery rhymes, for example, at Halloween? Well, many nursery rhymes and fairy tales are frightening or downright evil, so much so that they'd make even Silence of the Lambs' Hannibal Lecter blush. How have parents continued to offer these to their kids all these centuries? Is it just that, assuming that these are innocuous, that parents pass them on without really thinking about it? And then kids are too young to process that stuff? I'm going to share a different hypothesis, but I think it's fun to first give examples of some ghoulish nursery rhymes and fairy tales. First, the nursery rhymes, which I've pulled from the Yale Book of Quotations. This from Sweet Mother Goose. Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. Today, if you dare rock your baby on the treetop, and even if your kid doesn't splat, you can certainly expect a visit from Child Protective Services. Another little ditty from Mother Goose. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Poor egg dares to fall, death, or should I say, scrambled egg. And yet another time-honored treasure from Mother Goose. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. That's a gender-fair twofer. Two kids doing a chore, traipsing up a hill to get their family water, and the reward, crash! Three blind mice. See how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife, who cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a thing in your life as three blind mice? I suspect PETA is on the case. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider who sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Didn't they make a movie about that, Arachnophobia? Here comes a candle to light you to bed. Here comes a chopper to chop off your head. Not nice at all. Getting kiddo to come to bed, kindly using a candle to show the way, and then in the safety of bed, you're beheaded. I wonder if after hearing that, any kids might have trouble sleeping. Ring a roses, a pocket full of posies. Achoo, achoo, we all fall down. This is usually interpreted as related to the Black Plague, which was the era in which this was originally written. The ring of roses represents the rash, the posies a supposed cure, the sneezing the first symptom, and then they all die. Thanks again, Mother Goose. Little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper. What shall we give him? White bread and butter. What happened to the other two food groups? There once was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread. She whipped them all soundly and put them to bed. That'll teach them. Then there are the fairy tales. Here are a few well-known examples. Good role modeling for kids? Let's start with Snow White. When the evil queen, jealous of Snow White's looks, ordered the huntsman to kill Snow White, she demands that she bring back the girl's heart in a jewel box as evidence of his violent deed. And that is just the relatively sanitized, Disneyfied version of it. In the version published by the Brothers Grimm, the queen wants to devour Snow White's lungs and liver. This is all rather an antidote to that peace and love stuff they teach in school and church. Little Red Riding Hood. A girl in a red cloak is traveling through the woods to deliver food to her ailing grandmother when she meets a hungry wolf. After the wolf urges her to spend some time picking flowers for Grandma, he races ahead to beat her to the destination, and there he eats the grandmother, dresses up in her clothing, and lies in wait for Little Red Riding Hood. Is the moral of the story, don't be nice to Grandma? Hansel and Gretel. A seemingly kindly old woman lives in the woods in an edible gingerbread and candy house, which she uses to ensnare kids so that she can kill, cook, and eat them. Cannibalism comes to children's stories. Research over the last decade shows that kids don't become more violent even if they watch a great deal of violent TV and play violent, immersive video games like Grand Theft Auto 5. For example, this year, Simone Kuhn summarized the results. She was the head of the research. Some research she did at the prestigious Max Planck Institute for Human Development. Quote, "We did not find relevant negative effects in response to violent video game playing," end quote. Now that was with adults. With kids, a USA Today article this last November was titled, quote, "No evidence violent video games lead to real violence," end quote. So, my theory of why parents continue to pass these nursery rhymes and fairy tales on to their kids, I'm guessing that parents recognize what the researchers are only now finding out, that violence in fiction, whether nursery rhymes, fairy tales, even those immersive video games, are more likely to be fun than to hurt kids, or at least that the balance is certainly in the favor of fun. So, especially perhaps as we approach Halloween, you just might relax and enjoy. Certainly, Hannibal Lecter will nod in approval. In any event, I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.